Hello, I'm Sandy Mays and I've been working as a medium for 19 years. I work in Australia, New Zealand, the UK, France and now Dubai. And I have been dealing with students in various subjects to do with alternative therapies for, I suppose, about 10 or 11 years. And we're here to introduce a new course to you.
Hello, I'm Mike Mays and I'm a deep energy healer and have been for probably 18 years now. And again, like Sandy, I've got several modalities and courses that we run for Illuminations, where we're working at the moment. And we're going to introduce a new course to you today.
So you might be wondering what this course is. Well, it's animal communication. And this is quite a new subject. There are a few courses out there online, but really we're trying to make it a little easier, less complicated and easier to achieve. And this is what we hope to do with you. Now, supposing you could understand what your animal was thinking. Supposing you could understand what it was saying to you, how it's feeling, why it does what it does. Does it have any questions for you? Really, how does it explain what it wants you to do, what it wants it to do? Would you like to be able to understand all that and offer it to other people for their animals? Well, this course will facilitate that for you.
So what is animal communication? This is a bit as Sandy said, really. It's trying to understand your animals and talk to your animals. It might sound a little bit off the wall, if you like, but it's not. It's all about energy again. Understanding animals. So if, for example, you have a dog or a cat, whatever, they can't speak to you like we speak, as in with a voice, but they can speak to you in ways, other ways than that. Like, for example, they're funny like meows or barks or whatever. If they're feeling unwell or there's something wrong with them, how do you know? What happened? They can talk to you, they can tell you, but you're not listening because you don't understand them. And what we aim to teach you is how to understand them, what they're saying.
And a good start point for you, if you want to try this, if you've got a cat or a dog, try getting down on the floor at their level. Look at the world from their point of view. If the room is full of humans, there's going to be an awful lot of legs moving around past you. Quite risky, they could kick you, tread on you. Maybe somebody's moved a piece of furniture and it's frightened you. And then there's the question of the mail, all those unidentifiable objects hurtling through the letterbox every morning. Now you just don't think anything of it, but imagine what your cat feels when that happens. All of a sudden there is strange things coming into the house. So that's sort of seeing it from the animal's point of view, which is a good start point.
So who can do this? Everybody. That's the answer. Everybody can do this. Everybody's got the ability to do this. We are going to teach you in these courses how to tune into that ability. We've all got it.
Yes, it is natural, and for as long as people or humans and animals have been on the planet, they have communicated, but not so much now. The world is too fast and noisy and we've lost the ability to pick up on them. Now, animals are highly sensitive. They have like radar all around their energy field, and they're just picking up everything and communicating between each other. So this has been going on ever since mankind came here and animals came here, but they haven't lost the knack of telepathy. We have. So once people started coming on this planet and inhabiting it, they were joined by animals, but there was a very different attitude to animals then. The animals volunteered to come. So the cows came to give milk and some meat. The sheep came to give their wool. The hens came because the earth at that time was very quiet and peaceful and people were a bit slow, so the hens came to speed us up a bit and make the energy more lively. Horses came to serve us, to move us around, to let us ride them. But the difference is that in those days, we respected the animals and the animals respected us. Now, if you think about how we treat cows and sheep and animals like that now, it has changed. We no longer appreciate what they do for us. But the animals have not changed, they are still the same. So it's quite important that we get this communication and understanding going, because actually we are all animals. So what we call animals and we call humans is actually the same, we're just another species. And the species should be able to communicate between each other. Animals do this all the time between the different species. It's just the humans that don't do it, can't do it. So we're aiming to bring this back, and by teaching this on this really easy to do, easy to understand course, we want to start you off on that journey.
So like Sandy said, the world was a peaceful place and the hens came to speed us up. Funny that, isn't it? If you think about now with all the modern technology, we're the ones who sped up. We're the ones who's going too fast. Maybe we need another kind of animal to slow us down. That would help. So let's talk about the brainwaves. So our brainwaves, how we work. The problem is with us, everyday modern life and everything that happens to us, we're running at a very, very fast pace. So we can't keep up with a lot of things. We're not listening properly to the animals. We're not listening properly to each other because we're in too high a brainwave situation. The highest one is the beta state. So if we're in the beta state, we're running around like headless chickens, if you pardon the pun. We're all singing, all dancing. We're moving too fast. How can we expect to talk to our animals who's moving at a slower pace than us? Pretty difficult, really. But it isn't. If you think about it, all you need to do is go into a slight altered state of awareness, slight altered state of consciousness, just a slight one, and go down a level to the alpha state. You can still use your brain, you can still move around and you can still do things, but you're just at a little slower pace. That's going to raise your vibration. So if it raises your vibration, it will match the vibrations of the animals, because animals vibrate a bit higher than us, a little bit higher than us. So we need to match them. We need to get on that level. We need to be on the same link, if you like, on the same level as they are, so that we can understand them. What a great thing to do.
So this communication is possible because of telepathy. So let's look at that word, telepathy. Tele means sending or receiving information over a distance. And the pathy comes from empathic, which means understanding things more. So telepathy, so over a distance, understanding what's going on with another creature. Now, Mike was talking about the different speeds of life and how people are desensitized. A lot of this is because the two sides of our brain are unbalanced. So in today's world, the left-hand side of the brain, the logical, calculating side, is massively used, overused, but it's too busy. But the right-hand side, which is the creative, intuitive side, is neglected. So we have an imbalance. And that creative, intuitive side, the right-hand side, that's the side we need to develop and pay attention to if we want to get involved in this telepathy. So if you sort of focus on that, and that's the side that is going to benefit from your brainwaves being a bit lower to enable, to facilitate this communication. Enable you to understand what the animals are thinking, how they're feeling.
So now let's look at animal healing. What is animal healing? It's healing your animals, obviously. It's allowing them to heal you. You can heal them, they can heal you. So, how do we do this? And what is it really, how does it really work? We'll tell you in a minute. But healing actually means to make better, make whole, or make one. If you take the word heal, H-E-A-L, it's nice, but it's quite small on its own. If on the end of it you put a T-H, you get health. Health's a bigger word, like national health. If you put a
That's
Y on the
English.
end of that, you get healthy. And that's even better because we all want to be healthy, whether we're animals or human.
So healing is carried out through the chakra system, and animals have chakras just as we do. So you can see on this diagram here all the different animals, all with their chakras positioned, even reptiles, birds. And there isn't a fish on here, but they have chakras as well. But the difference with the animals is that they have an extra chakra, which has got an eighth one, which is called the brachial, which is a bit hard to say, but it's also known as the key chakra, and it's positioned roughly, sort of, they don't actually show it on here, but it's positioned about there, the shoulders on each animal, and that controls all the other chakras. So if you were to heal an animal, you would go for the key chakra and direct the healing energy through that one, because it's going to then direct the energy to whichever chakra needs the healing in the animal. It's also with that chakra, it's just as, if you own an animal, you might like to know this, but if you massage an animal on those chakra points, the eighth chakra, it will have a very calming effect. And if your animal's frightened or scared or anything like that, that might be a good thing to do. So next time you get out the cat carrier to take your cat to the vet and the cat's going a bit crazy, just calm it down with massaging on that point. But with the healing, it is very possible to heal animals, and it's also possible to send animals healing distantly, but using exactly the same techniques as we would with humans, working through the chakras, the energy control centers of the body. But maybe you're beginning to pick up from this the fact that animals and humans operate in the same way, energy fields, chakras, but the difference is the animals have kept that extra skill, the telepathy, and that this course will teach you how to embrace that skill as well.
And balancing of humans as well. I mean, animals are really good at that. For a start, they can sense more than we can what's wrong. So if there's something wrong in the house, there's something wrong with their owner, if you like, they can sense that. We can give them healing, but they can give us a lot of healing. Once you're tuned into an animal, you'll be able to find they'll give you a lot of healing. I'll give you a little example. We know of a couple, friends of ours, and both the man and the wife aren't in the best of health, and the gentleman is got quite a few health issues. They have a dog called Byron, and this dog's a crazy dog really, but he's not. He actually senses his owner. He senses his father, if you like, that he's not well. And when we've spoken to the animal, he's actually told us that I'm really worried about my dad because he's not in good health and he keeps doing things that he shouldn't be doing. But how can I tell him? So we have to tell him. We're the communicator for him in a way.
But there's another side to that story of Byron, because we had some of our animal communication graduates here the other evening, and we gave them a task. We gave them the name Byron, and we said, right, we want you to tune into this animal who's in the UK, and we want you to just find out what's going on with him. How is he? How's his health? How's he feeling? What's his life like? Where does he live? And they all picked up that he lives in the country near the sea, and they all picked up that he's depressed because his owner, his dad, who he's closest to, has all these health problems. So don't forget that animals are very affected by how their owners are, because animals all have a purpose. They all came to this planet to do something, and it's usually to look after someone. So they attach themselves to someone, and they will often choose who they're with. So this is the uniqueness of cats, actually, because they're very, very independent. But dogs, they also have the same, to look after their owners. And they do actually, animals despair of their owners because we have such a lack of comprehension of their feelings, of how they are. And what do we do if an animal isn't well? Well, we cart it off to the vet, and the vet does what the vet thinks, but nobody asks the animal how it's feeling and what's wrong with it. So the animal's really thinking there's something wrong with these humans. They're really not functioning properly. So the vet may misdiagnose, it may cost you a lot of money. But if you could just communicate, or you could teach people to communicate, you could actually say, well, you know, you're not eating, what's the matter? Don't you like the food, or are you ill? So there's a lot of benefits from this.
It can be quite simple. We know another animal healer lady who actually was wanted, or the owner of a horse asked her to look at this horse because the horse was poorly, wasn't getting any better, and the vet kept coming out and couldn't find anything wrong, and it cost this woman a lot of money, this vet. But the animal communicator went and spoke to the horse, and the horse said, I don't like where I'm living, I do not like this place, I do not like this owner, if you like. And that's all it was, and he was very sad. So he actually got rehomed. And he's been happy ever since, and not a thing wrong with him. So if we can only communicate, how wonderful that is, and not just for the animal, but for you as well.
Well, in this case, for that owner, because she spent so much money trying to sort the horse out. And it was interesting because the lady who did this, she'd actually come to me and said, can you teach me psychic reading? Because I want to communicate with horses. So that's where it all began. That's how we got involved. So this is a big subject. It's very, very interesting. And I think you're going to talk about who can do this.
Yes, who can do this? Well, again, everybody. There isn't anybody that can't do this. We've all got the gifts of this, but it's just about fine-tuning. It's about tuning into the universal healing energies, the same as it is with psychic or spiritualists. It's about just that fine-tuning so we can get to talk, know, feel and understand our animals. So they can get to know us as well, understand us and feel us and know what
But they already do. It's just we don't understand them. That's right. But there is a final side to this subject, and that's communicating with animals who've passed on. And this is just the same as spirit people. They go to the spirit world in the same way, their energy goes there, and it's the owners who are left often grief-stricken. So imagine the joy, the healing you could bring if you could bring somebody's dog through who had just been euthanized or killed in a road accident or something, and you actually bring the energy of this animal through for the owner. So what happens is that the animal's energy will blend with yours. You will sense it in the same way you would sense the energy of a living animal. And the animal will give you information about itself that allows the owner to say, oh, that is my dog. And once that's been done, you'll find that the animal will have messages for the owner, because animals have great inner wisdom. And they do despair of humans, and they do want to advise them and help them. So that's that side of it, and you will learn that on this course. You will learn how to allow spirit animals to communicate through you and bring great comfort with that. And I might mention this animal communicator we know. And there's another one called Jenny, and I went to her when one of my cats was run over, and I was away working at the time, so I didn't really have closure. She actually brought Jemima through and told me that Jemima was fine, so she was identified, and I was able to get closure on it because Jemima said that her life was over. She was 20, she couldn't hear, and she felt that it was time for her to go, and she was happy, and she'd met some of the other animals that I knew. So that brought me great comfort, and I was able to bring closure to that subject. So with this course, it will facilitate you doing that. So we're talking here really about the foundation course, which leads into an advanced course. And at the end of that, there is a certification. So let's have a look at the curriculum for that course. So it's quite comprehensive, so I'll just mention a few things. But it deals with the origin of all the species. It goes on to holistic healing therapies for animals, and how communicating and healing animals, communicating with and healing animals will change your life and the lives of the owners. There's animal chakras, human chakras, working with those. And really going into telepathy and your ability to work with telepathy, and recognising the signals that animals are giving out to you. Also, animal guides. So you'll realise obviously that as humans we have guides, but animals come as guides as well. They have their own guides. We talk about that, and we talk about protection when you're working with this, a lot of work on the connection with the spirit world, and then there will be lessons on how to actually do this for somebody else's animal and respecting the energy of the owner of that animal, because we have to be a bit careful when we're talking about animals who've passed on, because it can be a bit upsetting, but it's learning to handle the human relations as well. But really, summing it up, if we can communicate with animals, if we can really understand them better, the world will be a better place, because they have a lot to teach us. And we hope that we will be able to facilitate a lot of students being able to do this successfully.
Thank you. We'll also obviously get healing for animals, not only you healing animals, but animals healing you. So us and them and us. We are all one. Thank you for listening.